Welcome to Dopamine Clinic, the place where you'll unlock the secrets of your mind and transform your life. In today's episode, we'll explore the subconscious mind, the hidden force that shapes our beliefs, actions, and ultimate potential. They told you you're lazy, your teachers, your parents, even your so-called friends, because you couldn't focus, because you kept quitting things, because you were always on your phone or sleeping too much. But what if I told you something no one dared say? You're not lazy, you're overstimulated. And your mind has been hijacked, not by choice, but by design. Let me tell you about someone I worked with. We'll call him Ryan. 17 years old, bright, always had ideas. He wanted to start a YouTube channel, learn the gym, and fix his sleep. But every day, it was the same story. He'd wake up tired, check his phone, scroll TikTok, maybe open YouTube, watch some how to be productive videos, and then end up doing nothing. By nighttime, he felt like trash, guilty, ashamed. He'd whisper to himself, "Why am I like this?" He told me once, "I feel like a ghost. Like life is passing and I'm just watching." But here's the catch. He wanted to change, desperately. So why couldn't he? Here's what nobody tells you. You don't need to be stronger. You need to stop being chemically sedated. Let's break this down. Every time you scroll TikTok, binge Netflix, or watch short-form dopamine crack content, your brain fires dopamine, the chemical that tells you, "This is good, do it again." It's the same system triggered by gambling or drugs. Now here's where it gets dark. Your brain is not designed to handle constant novelty. Every 10-second video, a new spike, every like, a hit, every notification, a reward, and soon, your baseline dopamine drops. That means things that used to feel meaningful, like reading, studying, training, building, now feel boring. Why? Because they give slow, real rewards. And your brain has been hijacked to prefer fast, fake ones. So, when Ryan sat down to edit a video or lift weights, he'd feel resistance. Heavy, like walking through mental mud. He thought, "I'm just lazy," but the truth, he was trying to do low dopamine tasks with a brain that was flooded by high dopamine garbage every day. It's like giving a child candy all week, then handing them broccoli and wondering why they scream. Your mind isn't lazy. It's being trained to expect instant pleasure. And anything that takes real effort feels painful. Now, let me ask you, why is every app built to keep you addicted? Because the longer you stay, the more they profit. Big tech doesn't care about your purpose. They care about your attention, because that's what they sell. So they've turned your phone into a digital drug dealer. Quick hits, fast likes, endless scroll. And you think it's your fault. It's not. But it is your responsibility to reclaim your mind. Ryan hit a wall one night. After 7 hours of scrolling and doing nothing, he texted me, "Bro, I hate myself. I don't even know who I am anymore." And for the first time, he cried, not out of weakness, but because he finally felt what had been stolen from him. That was the night we started the reset. Not motivation, not some hustle BS, a dopamine detox. The first rule, no social media, no porn, no YouTube, no Netflix, no junk dopamine. Just books, walks, silence. He deleted TikTok and logged out of Instagram. Day 1, he was anxious, bored, restless. Day 2, he kept reaching for his phone, even though nothing was there. Day 3, headaches, no motivation. Depression creeping in, that's withdrawal. Just like quitting a drug. Because dopamine addiction is drug addiction, just digital. But on day 5, something shifted. He walked to the gym without thinking. Not because he felt like it, but because he was finally bored enough to seek real stimulation. He picked up the weights, felt weak, but finished the session, and for the first time in months, he smiled, not at a screen, at himself. What happened to Ryan wasn't magic. It was rewiring. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity, the ability to reshape itself, but it only reshapes when you force it to. Through discomfort, through silence, through pain. We use tools from dark psychology, trigger replacement, replace phone grabbing with breathwork, pain pairing associating guilt with cheap dopamine, visual anchoring, mirror affirmations during low points, delayed gratification exercises, reading before eating, walking before resting. These aren't feel-good strategies, they're mental warfare. Because reclaiming your brain is a battle. And most people lose, not because they're weak, but because they don't know they're in a war. By week 2, Ryan was different. He read his first book in years. He wrote down goals. He started waking up earlier, not because of an alarm, but because his body stopped drowning in screen-induced exhaustion. The dopamine wasn't gone, it had just been reset. And when he did open his phone, he felt sick. The fake colors, the endless swipes, it repelled him. That's when you know you're healing. When the drug that once controlled you begins to disgust you. Let me be real with you. This isn't some fairy tale. Week 3, Ryan relapsed. One YouTube video led to another, then TikTok. He binged for 7 hours again, and when he looked at himself in the mirror that night, he broke. He said, "I thought I was done being this guy." But here's what I told him. Healing isn't linear. One fall doesn't undo your climb. You don't fail when you relapse, you fail when you stay down. So we started again, this time with fire. This time, he wasn't doing it to prove anything. He was doing it because he tasted what freedom felt like. And he wanted it back. They lied to you. They told you you were lazy. But the truth is, you were never lazy. You were overstimulated, manipulated, and sedated by a system that profits from your numbness. But now you see it, and once you see the cage, you can start kicking the door down. And that's when the real transformation begins. Ryan sat in his room, curtains still drawn, phone on the floor. He just spent another full night in that dopamine loop. The very thing he promised himself he'd escaped. But this time, something felt different. He didn't spiral into self-hate. He didn't call himself useless or weak. He said 4 words I'll never forget. I felt the difference. That's when you know the mind is starting to wake up. You can't unfeel clarity once you've tasted it. The chaos feels louder now. The distractions feel heavier. He wasn't going back. He was getting up. Once Ryan reset his dopamine, the goal wasn't just to avoid the bad. It was to train the mind to enjoy the hard things. Let me say that again. You don't build discipline by forcing yourself to suffer. You build it by associating pleasure with progress. Here's what we did next. 1. The hour of power. Ryan's first hour used to be doom scrolling in bed. Now, his phone stayed on airplane mode. The routine was simple but brutal. 10 push-ups, cold water splash, 15-minute walk. No headphones, no screens, just silence, journaling, 1 page, free thought. He hated it at first, but after 5 days, his brain started craving the silence. He said, "It feels like the only time I can hear myself think." Because it was. 2. The mental rewiring journal. Every night, Ryan wrote down what triggered his cravings, what actions made him feel powerful, what made him feel weak. We used a technique from cognitive behavioral therapy, thought substitution. Whenever he thought, "I'll just check Instagram for 5 minutes," he trained himself to follow with, "and lose an hour of my life for nothing." He started to hate his old thought loops. That's when you know you're winning. 3. The environment shift. This part was huge. Ryan's room was chaos, posters, snacks, clutter, screens. So we stripped it. Minimal desk, books only, mirror with a quote. "This is where I wake up." Not just from sleep, from programming. He rearranged his environment to mirror the identity he wanted. Because if your room screams distraction, your mind will follow. But here's the thing about real transformation. Eventually, your past self fights back, the lazy version, the addict, the weak one who craves the shortcut. And for Ryan, that voice came back hard. It whispered, just one day off. You deserve a break. You've been good enough. That voice is the shadow self, a concept from Carl Jung. The part of you that holds everything you suppress, shame, guilt, comfort. And if you don't face it, it takes over. So we made that voice visible. Ryan named it, drew it, wrote letters from it, talked back to it in the mirror, not with kindness, with domination. Because you can't negotiate with the part of you designed to keep you small. You must overpower it. One day, Ryan looked at an old photo. Fat, pale, eyes empty. He got quiet and said, I don't ever want to be that version again. We took that pain, that visual memory, and used it as fuel. He saved it as his phone wallpaper, not to hate himself, but to remind himself of the consequences of going back. That's transmutation, turning emotional pain into forward energy. Every time he wanted to quit, he looked at that face. And he chose violence against weakness. By month 2, Ryan had posted his first video. It flopped. But he posted again. He joined a local gym. Went 4 days a week. He got to real friends who respected his growth. Not followers, brothers. His sleep fixed itself. He started reading again. 2 books in 30 days. No speed reading, just presence. And most importantly, he started helping others do the same. His little brother, his best friend, even strangers online. Because here's a secret most people never learn. When you teach what saved you, it saves you again. Here are the tools we used, stolen from therapists, brain hackers, and survivalists. 1. Trigger association. Link your cravings to pain. Scrolling equals weakness. Delayed action equals regret. Repeat it until it becomes instinct. 2. Dopamine anchoring. Do something hard. Immediately follow it with small pleasure. Gym plus cold shower gives then black coffee plus music. You train your brain to love the grind. 3. Identity shifting. Every action is a vote for the person you want to become. Not motivation, identity. I'm the kind of person who builds. I don't scroll, I study. I don't chase, I create. 4. The war plan. Each day, write a battle list. Wake by 7, cold water, to hard tasks. 1. Social connection. No junk dopamine. Cross it off like a general in war. Because that's what this is, a war for your mind. 3 months later, Ryan did something bold. He re-downloaded TikTok, not to scroll, to test himself. He watched one video, paused, closed the app, deleted it. He said, it doesn't hit anymore. That's how you know you're free. Not when the temptation disappears, but when it no longer owns you. He asked me to share this with you. If you're watching this and thinking, that'll never be me. I used to say the same thing. But I promise you, the person you want to be is already inside you. You just need to kill the distractions long enough to hear him whisper, let me out. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just surrounded by noise. Cut the noise. Face the cravings. Rebuild your brain with force, with pain, with clarity. This is not self-help. This is psychological warfare. And from this point on, you're no longer the victim. You're the weapon.